Welcome back to the Dahlem Realty Podcast. I'm Jim Dahlem.
And I'm Charlie Dahlem. We're glad you're joining us. On this podcast, we talk to leaders who are shaping business, development, and the future of the Louisville region.
Today we have a guest who truly sits at the center of all of that. We're excited to welcome Dr. Gerry Bradley. He's the president of the University of Louisville.
The University of Louisville is one of the most influential institutions in our city, with more than 25,000 students, multiple campuses, major healthcare partnerships, and a growing research footprint. The university plays a huge role in the Louisville economy and our city's long-term growth.
And when you think about it, a university is almost like its own city, with housing, research facilities, athletic venues, classrooms, hospitals, and constant development and construction happening all around campus.
Exactly. And today we're going to talk to Dr. Bradley about the university's vision for the future, the role the university plays in Louisville's business community, and how campus development and infrastructure continue to shape the city.
We'll also dive into something everyone is talking about right now, the rapidly changing world of college athletics, including NIL and what it means for programs like Louisville.
Dr. Bradley, we really appreciate you taking time today.
Welcome to the Dahlem Realty Podcast. We appreciate you coming.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And go Cards to both of you. I know you're strong supporters of the university, so I appreciate you both.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's start out. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your family, how you came to Louisville. Our listeners just heard your voice. I might be profiling a little bit, but I'm not sure you're from these parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, a little bit of an accent that has been molded over the years. So I was born and raised in Ireland and came over to the U.S. When I was 26 years of age to do a residency at the Ohio State University. I was a first generation student, and the opportunity to come to the U.S. and do my graduate training was a huge game changer for me, coming to the Buckeyes and seeing what an amazing university and amazing universities in this country. And as a result of that, I met my wife here at Ohio State, and we married, and we have 5 children and 5 boys, and just blessed to have such a healthy, great family here in Louisville. Kind of came to Louisville in 2016. I had spent most of my academic life at Marquette University in Milwaukee, and great time there, 19 years there, and then came as the dean of the dental school in 2016, and became an interim provost, and then president. So it's been an amazing journey, and I've had an amazing family that have supported me. And of course, I do get back to Ireland to visit my family there. And funny aside, my middle son is doing a master's now in Ireland, so he's doing sort of the opposite. He did his finance degree here, and then he's now pursuing a master's in Ireland. So
that's exciting.
Another good reason to visit Ireland a lot.
Yeah, well, I hope you get over there a whole lot. I know you went on a little sailing trip there this past summer,
absolutely.
So that had to have been fun. And okay, so you stepped in the role as president during a dynamic time for the university. You're executing a new strategic plan. So what are your top priorities right now at the University of Louisville?
Yeah, well, I think, if you look at our mission statement, it's to educate and serve the public. And we do that through, transformative teaching, innovative research, and engaged partnerships. And, really what we want to do is to help the quality of life for the Commonwealth and for the quality of health in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and beyond. And I would crystallize it all in one word, is that, when you look at the vision, is I would like us to be known as much for our athletics in the ACC, or for our academics in the ACC, as well as for our athletics. And I think, we're on a mission to continue to grow our enrollment. We have record enrollment right now. We have record first-year retention. And I want us to continue to grow in that profile. And so I see our strategic plan that articulates a vision, it articulates a roadmap for us, and we are going to pursue it aggressively over the next 5 years. And I'm very excited about that. And it involves a lot of capital build out as well as we expand the campus. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that in the podcast here. But I'm really excited about the future, despite all the headwinds that we hear about in higher education. And I'm just excited.
You were talking about academic enrollment, our enrollment, record enrollment. What are we anticipating
Yeah,
next
so
year?
our previous record before last year was 23,620. So last year we broke 24,000. We had 24,123. This year we broke the 25,000 mark, as you mentioned in your opening. And this year we think we'll get close to 26,000. The fall of this year will be at close to 26,000. So we've been very aggressive about growing enrollment, and we've been doing that through a number of initiatives, particularly around our border benefit program and our Cardinal Commitment Grant, which is around unmet financial need, because we know that unmet financial need is the greatest barrier for our students. So we've been deliberately targeting resources to do that. And I think that is something we're very proud of, and I think that's what excites me about what we are about, because it's all about students. This university exists because of our students, and we appreciate them, and we appreciate the journey they're on, and we want to make sure that they're successful.
And a lot of people don't realize how many first-generation students we have at the university, and you being a first-generation student can appreciate the journey that they're on, and again, the headwinds that they face, and retaining them. And I know the university is very focused on retaining them and making sure that they have a successful outcome at the university. That's really been it's really interesting. We talk about that a lot in some of the meetings that I've been in.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. I think it was my provost days. I mean, I never thought I'd be a president, never mind provost. And, kind of being involved in the student success features really, just appealed to me because of my background. And my father left school at 14, and, he was an electrician. He worked hard. He taught me the values, and he was a very, very smart man, I can tell you, and but worked hard, and those values he gave to me, and just to see the opportunities that my family have had. Higher education is just such a powerful, transformative feature for these families. And 38% of our students are first generation Pell eligible. So a large number of our students fit into that category.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, since we're in the real estate business, let's shift gears here and go talk about real estate. So universities operate like small cities. How much real estate does UofL manage across campuses and elsewhere?
Yeah, great question. Belknap campus spans about 345 acres, and so we have about nearly 4.5 million square feet of space there. The Health Science Center covers about 62 acres, which is about a little over 3 million square feet. And then, of course, our third campus, Shelby campus, is at 230 acres, and so we have 145,000 square feet of facilities that are primarily managed there by the foundation. And then finally, our innovation park, which is behind the Speed School on Eastern Parkway, has about 37 acres that are available for future development. And we're so excited that, we are going to be planning our first building to go in there in the next 2 years or so, as we finalize some of the federal support we've gotten from Leader McConnell in the legislation to create a Center for Bioscience. So we're very excited about that property now being actually developed out, and building going in there as well.
And for our listeners, that property it's between basically between Eastern Parkway and the football stadium, and backs up to the baseball stadium, and it's going to be a really, really state-of-the-art research park. This thing's been talked about, for over a decade now, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I came in a decade and they were talking about it then. I think it had been going on a while before that. But yeah, I think, this is really exciting, and there is hope that we actually have conversations around a second building at this point in time too. And, part of our vision would be that it would be a sort of a mixed use space. This would be a thriving community area that would have potentially dining and some other mixed use type of thing, because we want it to be a vibrant ecosystem. We all see these kind of cold looking industrial park type facilities or spaces, but we really want this to be sort of an innovation area where we can bring, community, leadership, business, and students to this area to become a vibrant area. And as you mentioned, it really is the connection between the stadium and the rest of the Belknap campus.
Yep.
So it's really exciting.
It is.
That's great. Yeah. Well, you've mentioned some of that as being some of the capital projects that you have on the way at the campus. Is there anything else being planned that you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, we're going to be breaking ground on the new $280 million HSC building, which we're really so excited about. That's really our first major building on the health science campus since the CTR building, which was a research building that was put in the, I believe, in the late 1990s. So this is just a game changer. I mean, it'll be the biggest innovation center in the US, and it'll incorporate medicine, dentistry, public health, research, nursing. And it really will be a focus of a community of learning and of really high level technology. And we can see that, we're hopeful that UofL Health and Norton and Baptist and all the other folks involved in healthcare will be able to use the simulation building. And it's really a resource for the Commonwealth. So we will be a leader in that area. We've done a lot around our new engineering building that you are all both familiar with. We were able to open that this past fall. We have also been renovating a large number of buildings across campus with some asset preservation funds that we've gotten. So our humanities building has been upgraded. We're also looking at a military, I mentioned the bioscience building, but there's also a precision medicine initiative around some of the federal funding that we've gotten that will involve some building out as well. And then the Fraser Rehabilitation Pediatric Spinal Cord Injury Center is another space that we are in the process of designing and renovating. So there's just a lot of things going on. Finally, we're moving our student health center, which is currently housed down by the stadium, and we're moving it back onto campus, which, always amazed me why it was, I know why it was down there because, that was kind of where the healthcare folks were located, but we've created and we have reimagined the Mitzi building, which is really in the center of campus, to be our new health and mental health centers for our students to really have those resources close by and close to them. And that's really what it's about. It's just trying to make things easier for students to be able to access facilities and access the things that they need to be successful. So very happy about that.
And we've got some dorms. I mean, we're looking at doing some new dorms, absolutely. Right? We got a lot more students coming in. So
absolutely, we're at a maximum capacity. We built 2 dorms in the last couple of years, and we have purchased Cardinal Avenue there and 3rd Street. We're going to be putting out for an RFP and putting in a new building there, which would be a dorm. And we've also purchased the clubhouse, which is a building that people might have thought belonged to the university, but it didn't, and it's on Eastern Parkway and Preston. And we're going to be in the process next 2 years updating that and bringing it up to high standards. And then at some point, we will be looking at taking Unitas and one of the older dorms offline as well, because both of them are reaching beyond 50 years in age. So we do want to make sure that we continue to offer high-end housing to cope with the rapidly expanding student population.
And for our listeners who aren't in the area, that is, yes, Unitas as in Johnny Unitas. So that's who that was named for. Right.
That's exactly right.
So well, we just got to make sure everybody go, oh,
right.
Our football fans out there are going to go, oh, he went to UofL. Yeah. So these projects and the investment that we're making that has a significant impact on, rippling out the neighborhoods and rippling out for commercial real estate development. These investments, how do they affect, in your opinion, the real estate around the campus? Yeah, it's got to help them in a good way, and this is probably true for campuses across the country.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's interesting, Charlie, you bring this up because we're actually looking at doing a new financial impact study of the university and how it impacts the Commonwealth of Kentucky, not only the city but the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But if you took, for instance, athletics just finished their impact report, and it actually over a 3-year period, the financial impact of athletics alone was about $3 billion during that 3-year period. So about over $1 billion on impact on the city, and whether it be related to dining, housing, revenue generation, all of those things that are a vibrant part of any large sporting event that comes in. So then you take the impact of the university around the fact that we're taking students in, and we are the second biggest employer in the Commonwealth, in the city of Louisville, I should say. So when you combine UofL and UofL Health, we are second in employment. And so that is a huge impact on salaries, right? And people coming and being able to live and to bring people into the economy and who want to live here and who are buying houses. And, a lot of our faculty and staff and students are seeking housing and purchasing housing around it. So the economic impact of the university is huge, along, of course, with all of the services that we are, purchasing to support the university as it relates to all of the things you'd imagine with the food and the IT support and all the things that it takes, like you said, to run a city, right? And then you take U of L Health's impact and you look at that. We have the university is a $1.8 billion operation, and the health system's about a $2.6 billion operation. So you can see that we're talking about a major driving economic force that impacts the Commonwealth and the city, and which is why it's such an important thing, the relationship between the mayor and myself and the state legislative branches and the governor's office, that we are also linked in trying to drive employment, trying to drive industry and provide a well-educated workforce to supply that demand, and create an environment in Kentucky that we're bringing in people to want to live in this beautiful city that is so affordable to live when compared with other alternatives, right?
Right. And you talked about the Med Center and the impact that it has. U of L is a Research One university. And how many Research One universities are there in the country?
Yeah, there's about 100, and I believe 130 or so R1 research universities. But then when you put R1 research and then community engaged, which we are, and then you put the new classification of Carnegie, which is an opportunity and success campus. There are only 11 universities in the country who have all three. And so we're the only university in the ACC and the only university in the Commonwealth of Kentucky that have all three. And so we're very proud of that. And what does that opportunity and campus Carnegie designation mean? Well, it means that our students are engaged with the community when they are involved in their undergraduate education. And when they graduate, their income is 1.5 times that of their peers that graduate from high school. And so, that is, to me, again, a really important metric for us to be looking at, because it really talks to the value of what we're doing with our students. We're giving them an affordable education. The average debt of our students that graduates is about $20,000, and then about 50-60% graduate with no debt. So, these are low numbers, which is why over the last 2 years, we've jumped 37 spots in our U.S. News and World rankings. Primarily because of the student to faculty ratio and the low student debt that our students are graduating. So I'm very proud of those improvements that we're making and continue to focus on those as we continue to rise up those rankings, because they are an important reflection of our standing in the nation and the world.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted you to talk about it. I mean, it's just it's remarkable. It is truly remarkable. So congratulations to you and the whole team. Leadership team.
Village, yeah. I mean, everybody's involved in it. We try to permeate that culture right through, because it's not one person that can do this. It's just the important that everybody's involved in making our students a focus of this university and what we do, and we try to make every decision through that lens.
Yeah, I remember when we were younger, U of L was a commuter school, and today you have people coming from all over the world. There. So it's a night and day difference.
It's an amazing journey, really, when you think of it. I mean, there's a lot of other institutions that may be more ahead of us, but when you think of the relative history of the university, although we are very old in our history, but the progress that's been made since 1980, if you take, that period of time forward, is just really amazing. And I think it's a testament to the people that have been at this university over that period of time. And it's like, sometimes I'm just blown away when we go to our staff faculty recognition and retirements, and you have people that have been here 40, 45 years, 50 years. kind of unheard of in this day and age. But and people are just so emotional about what the university has meant to them. And then that kind of drives home why the university has been so successful, because we have so many people dedicated to day in and day out do the job and are committed to the job and love their job. That's just really something that makes me certainly proud to be an honor to be with this university.
For sure. So, we touched on this. You talked a little bit about this already, but universities are major players in economic engines in cities. How significant is UofL's impact in Louisville on the economy today?
Yeah, I think, it's a great question because we talk about it, but I think, when you think about the people who stay here, I mean, 70% of our students roughly are from Kentucky, right? So they are getting an education and staying on in the workforce. And, one of the metrics that, we actually are getting more data on now is placement, where our graduates going. But we know that even with the students that we bring from outside, they are coming, and up to a third of them will stay. And when you look at our overall enrollment, our demographics as a Commonwealth, we are in a process of a decline. And this is sort of related to the enrollment cliff that people keep talking about. But it's also a population decline that is also very evident across certain parts of the United States, and it's more prevalent in Kentucky. And so really what we're trying to do is to work with the city and the Commonwealth to bring people in here and to drive an influx of people here that can change that trend. So it's hard to quantitate and give you a number. And that's what we're actually going to do, is we're going to do a similar study that athletics have done to actually look at the impact of the hospital and the health system and the university. But it's in the billions. I mean, typically when you take a number, I mentioned about 1.8 billion, you need to multiply that by a 3 or 4x to kind of see what the impact is overall, typically on a city/Commonwealth in the addition. So, we're talking billions as regards an impact of this university on the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
And you've talked about the Commonwealth of Kentucky several times during our discussion here. And while the University of Louisville has an urban mission, and people talk about the University of Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky and Western and the others. I mean, the University of Louisville is truly reaches out all over the Commonwealth, and people don't realize that. I don't think that we touch every county.
Yeah, 100. We have a student from 120 counties. Every county in Kentucky is represented in the University of Louisville, and as you mentioned, across the world. And we have programs all over the Commonwealth, and we are a state university, and we're proud of that. We have, for instance, we have nursing program in Owensboro. We have a medical program in Madisonville. We have dental programs across the Commonwealth. And all the way from Paducah. We're working with Murray for them to help to develop a medical program there. We're working with Mountain Comprehensive in Eastern Kentucky. We have a dental clinic in Clay County. Our Kentucky Manufacturing Extension Program is providing grants to companies all over the Commonwealth. It's kind of like the equivalent of UK's Ag program. We have our Manufacturing Extension Program, and what we're doing is we're helping small businesses. We're providing grants to give small businesses. It's a match to help them improve their efficiency, and using our faculty and staff to help them when it comes to areas like AI and robotics, which is such an important part of commercial development. And so, we are definitely view ourselves as a citizen of the Commonwealth, and we want to be seen as such.
And I think, and one more thing I want to touch on, I don't think some of our listeners may not know this, but UPS Worldwide Hub is in Louisville, and the University of Louisville has a special program designed around the student being able to work at UPS and still get their degree from the University of Louisville. Can you talk about that for just a minute? Because sometimes that's forgotten, because this has been going on for a long time. This
program. I mean, it's been, as you said, a long time. It's certainly been a collaboration because, like everything, you have to have a team effort. And JCTC has been involved in that. The city have been involved with UPS and ourselves. And it's a program designed to allow students to come in. work at UPS and then come in and be a student at UofL and to have a flight plan so that they can graduate on time. So it's been, certainly a very successful program over the years, and we are very proud to be partners with with UPS on this project. And boy, from a standpoint of it's been I think well over 25 years that this has been in place, but I could be wrong on that number, so I don't want to say, hold me to that. But it's certainly a storied program, and we're very proud to be a partner in it.
Yeah, because at UPS, when they're sorting packages and all, they've got peak demand, and the university's built a curriculum around when they need their employees and helping the students, like manage their exam time. Christmas is high demand. Well, guess what? That's when you're taking exams. So we got to figure out how we work around that. They've done a great job. But anyway, let's shift a little bit to college athletics.
Sure.
All right, it's changing rapidly with NIL, and how's that affecting the University of Louisville, in your opinion?
Well, I think, a lot of issues, and, I was proud to be a part of with AD Hurd and Chair Benz about putting out an op-ed on it. But I think in a nutshell, what we have is a system, that's unsustainable. We've got expenditures that are uncontrollable right now. They're not being controlled, so essentially there's a cap. But really what that cap is a ceiling. It's a lower ceiling. It's not the top ceiling. And so we have across the country colleges spending a lot of money, well in excess of that 20 million, which is a new requirement essentially. So if you take a small business, for instance, and say it's a $100 million business, and now suddenly you add a $20 million expense that wasn't there before. But that's not really a $20 million expense. Maybe it's a $30 million expense or a $40 million expense, or in some cases higher than that from what we're seeing around the nation. That it has going to have an impact, right? And so because the revenue side does not match that expense that's coming, and so the way the system is set up, the revenues are not there, and so we have an expense problem. Contracts that are out of control. You got buyouts going on. You got all types of things going on. And then you have on to control that, you will have to have a salary cap, right? The way it's done around the NFL, if we look at the example of the NFL, for instance, they have a cap on expending. And so that's a hard cap. And so that's one way to keep the field level. We don't have that, right? So the second thing is around the governance of college athletics right now, because we have the student, the NCAA, and we have the Student Sports Commission, and they don't have any legislative oversight. They really don't have any power to be able to regulate this and to hold people accountable. So there's a governance issue. So what we've called for is, governance changes through Congress. It has to happen through Congress, and whether it be, and we believe it's probably the creation of a new body that would have the oversight over to make sure that we control things like, for instance, eligibility. Typically a student should come and it should be, a college degree. That's what it's all about, right? It's about our students. So it's about giving them a degree, and that's what it was designed to do. And now we have no eligibility. All of the eligibility issues are being challenged right now in the court system. So you have people that are coming back from being in, say, the European League, and they now are turning up in college sports. So there's no longer the 18 to 23-year-old experience we're talking about. We're talking about people who are older now coming back and claiming eligibility to be in college sports. You've also got Title IX. There's two sports that make money, and that's usually football and basketball. And in some cases, a lot of programs don't even make money in basketball. So what's going to happen to those other 21 sports when you're paying all of the money to a small group of players in a couple of sports? Those sports are going to suffer. And so we're going to see problems around Title IX. We're going to see a disappearance of the Olympic model, essentially, because these universities will not be able to sustain these sports programs if this is not regulated. And that's why we need sort of governance. And then from a revenue perspective, we believe that we should have the same media rights in college athletics that the NFL does and the NBA, because if you look at college athletics, it's the second most watched sport in the country. NFL is number one. College sports is number 2, NBA is 3, and yet NBA has better media rights and better earnings than college sports overall. So we believe that there should be a modification of the Broadcasting Act so that college sports can have, more regulated agreements with, digital media, with traditional media, to improve the revenue side. So we can improve the revenue to help the sports continue to go on. We have salary caps to maintain and control expenses and keep things equitable so that it's not an arms race. And then the third thing is governance. So a lot there to unpack, but those are essentially the 3 things that we need to see happen.
You mentioned your op-ed. That was a really good op-ed, by the way. And I'm not sure where people can see that. Do you have that online somewhere where people?
Yeah, we do actually. It's on our presidential my web page on the president's website, UofL. There is a link to it, and that would be a way to get that.
Why don't we put it in the show notes? Yeah, what's that? We'll put it in our show notes.
Yeah, we'll put it in our notes, because it's something that anybody who's interested in college athletics should read this, because you talk about the university and your all's position right now, but you give a good macro picture too in the op-ed, and it's not accusatory. It's just, hey folks, this is where we are and we got a problem. So it's good.
Exactly.
It's really good.
It's a complex issue, and there's no simple solution to it. And I know there's a lot of concerns about student athletes being employees and things like that. So there are things we've got to work through. But they're smart people. We have smart people in this country, and we can get this sorted out. But we need people very much focused on it, because this is a train wreck. This is a crisis.
Yeah, if I was king for a day, I'd have 3 changes made, and that is if you could transfer one time in the portal. Unless something happens to your coach. That's the first one. The second one is there should be a clawback clause if you do transfer on some of the money in your NIL. And finally, if you are a scholarship player, that is that the university is paying for your education, if you make over X, and I don't know what X is, but I think that if you make over that, then your scholarship goes to somewhere else, like the golf team or the swim team or something like that, and you got to pay for your own education there. Mm-hmm. Those are 3 things that just stick out in my head. But anyway, that's just me, and they didn't ask for my opinion. So
you didn't go to President Trump's meeting?
No, they didn't.
White House. You didn't get invited? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't invited either, but that's okay.
So you've spoken publicly about the importance of NIL in competitiveness. What role should universities play versus the collectives and private partners, and that you think that the universities maybe should have a bigger say in this? What's your thought on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think, private equity is there to make money, right? So I think, there's a lot of third parties getting involved, and in some ways they're negotiating some equity control over athletics programs within universities. I don't think that's the way to go at all. I mean, I think, let's face it, private equity is just there to make money for folks who've invested in it. And I think that's why we're more interested in dealing with the structural reform issues and changing sort of the revenue pieces of it through the Broadcasting Act. But I think people are having to look at private equity as a short-term gap as they wait for these changes to occur. And clearly, every program's got to do what's got to do. And again, this is why it's the Wild West. So I really do think that, universities should control college athletics. I think the way we have it set up with the conferences is ideal from a standpoint of, regional conferences and allowing students to be able to compete at a high level and having a championship. I mean, all of that needs to be, kind of controlled by the universities and having a voice in that control rather than other folks being involved in that control. And my concern is when you bring in third and fourth parties into it who have financial interest, then they're going to be looking at it not from a student's perspective or from the quality of education or how that fits in, but from a profit perspective. So that to me is not where college sports should go.
From a facility standpoint, are there any new facilities on the horizon at UofL right now that you can talk about athletically?
Oh, yeah. So we have a STEM H building request in for the state. So, this is the biannual budget year. So right now we will find out in April whether we've gotten our capital request. But, that's how we got the speed school and the HSE building. It was part of budget requests we made. And so we have
and for our listeners, speed is the engineering school.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. We have people
good point.
outside of Louisville.
But yeah, the STEM H building actually, is a $142 million building request that would go in, and it actually would be right next to the engineering and the new building that we put in the engineering space, and that would fit right behind the innovation park, or sorry, in front of the innovation park, and where we're going to build the bioscience building would go into the innovation park. So we're starting to build a corridor that would be around the STEM H field going into the innovation park. So that's a project, of course, that we hope that will get funded. As I mentioned, we have the dorm building that will go up and on Capitol and Third Street and Boulevard. That's going to be a big housing project there. We've been looking forward to that for many years. We do have a capital build out map of how we envision the campus, and it does involve a number of dorms being built further in the campus, where currently we have some physical plant space located. So, we have a very robust capital plan that will see the university through the 30,000 student mark, based on us reaching those goals and achieving those goals. So you're going to see a lot of buildings going on campus. I mean, it usually is a sign of a vibrant city and a vibrant campus when you see a lot of cranes around, and our
Right.
goal is to have a lot of construction going on in the years ahead, both from a renovation perspective and an upgrade perspective on some of our older buildings, but also to continue to build out that area that we think can become a thriving area around the southern part of the campus.
Athletically, I mean, for instance, is Dan McDonald, our baseball coach, going to get his indoor work practice facility?
Again, we're always looking for donors to help in any projects like that, and we will continue to do so. As I mentioned, we are really blessed with facilities. I mean, I've had the pleasure of going across the nation and within the ACC to visit different facilities as we played teams, and we've got some phenomenal facilities. And again, it's a testament to previous leadership over the years that have gotten us to this point. So we have got we've got great facilities, and
We do.
can they be upgraded? Absolutely, and we always are looking to improve on that. But as I mentioned, there's a lot going on in the NIL space that right now capital is not number one on our agenda, but trying to continue to be competitive on the field.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead. I know. I was just going to say, we've really covered some of the other questions that we had. I think with all of that, I'm not. Gerry, we've had a chance to be in meetings together probably since 2016, and have gotten to know each other. And I think I'm speaking for a lot of people when I say, and I'm not just blowing sunshine around, but everybody's happy that you're in the chair, and we appreciate the job that you're doing at the university. And I've watched how you've interacted with the folks who report to you. I've seen how you act and react toward students when you see them. I mean, it's just you are a bright light at the university right now, and we very much appreciate you. That's right.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you, Charlie. I know we've known each other for a while now, but I'm just so honored to be in this role. Never expected it, and every day I get up to try to do my best on it. And they're not easy days sometimes. And we've had to make some hard decisions around some things that, because we have to concentrate on our core of educating the most students and making sure we're making decisions around very precious resources. So, but I appreciate all the support I've gotten from the community, from the faculty, from the staff. I really appreciate that, and I feel very, very supported during doing this work. And so I'm very blessed to have a great team. We all know we can't do what we do without a team and a culture, and I'm just so appreciative of the team I have to work with and the culture within UofL. I think we've got a great trajectory, and it's because of that culture.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it, Dr. Gerry.
Well, I appreciate
Bradley.
you, and I appreciate your time, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care,
All
Gerry.
the best.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.